Welcome back, everyone. So, Muhammad, last time you talked about contemplation on the Quran, and you mentioned the story, but is there a step after contemplation?
Mhm.
And how can we take that contemplation to the next level of actually acting upon it?
It's very important because the Quran is a book of guidance.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're supposed to be using the Quran to help us do the right thing, to be able to navigate life, to
Hmm.
be able to know when to do when we were faced with certain calamities. There's actually a story, bro, about Abdullah ibn Abbas. He was traveling one time and he got the news that his son died, right? And obviously, it's not an easy thing just to hear your son to die. And a lot of times, if God forbid, any of us is hit with that calamity, we wouldn't even know what to do. But because he was so connected to the Quran, he stopped the caravan. Everybody that was traveling with him, he went and he prayed 2 rak'ahs, and that's it. And then the companions around, the people around him were like, okay, why did you do that? Because he said that in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَ الصَّابِرِينَ. Seek help through patience and prayers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with those who are patient. And he said that this was my way of taking that Quran and benefiting it from me. So the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a book of action. And I mentioned, the beginning how the Quran would move Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anh, and then there's the story of the Quran, the Prophet ﷺ taking time to be complimenting,
Yeah.
contemplating the Quran and repeating it and whatnot. And now the third and the most important level perhaps, and this is kind of like it's more of a stage process, is that you take that which you learned and you implement it,
Hmm.
right? There is actually another incident of Umar radiallahu anh, that he was one time talking to Abdullah ibn Abbas, and he was saying that how come later after the death of the Prophet ﷺ, people started fighting with one another. Muslims, there was a lot of things that were happening among the Muslim lands, and Abdullah ibn Abbas says because a time will come that people are going to read the Quran from beginning to an end. Okay, they will know every letter properly, they will know every understanding, but they will implement zero of it, right? They will not benefit from them, right? And that's why they don't really get the most out of out of Ramadan as they are reading the Quran.
Yeah.
So my advice to everybody, inshallah ta'ala, as you are reading, you might pause through a command, right? It could be like being good with your parents. Now you reflect and realize, you know what? I'm really not that good to my parents.
Yeah.
And make that your action items out of the month of Ramadan. Like from the moment we hit Eid till the next Ramadan, I am going to be focused on that command. Because Allah wants me to be good to my parents,
Yeah.
however that may be. Somebody else might say, you know what, man? There's a command that I shouldn't be looking at girls. Lower your gaze. Well, I'm not really doing so well in that specific act, so this is gonna be my way until the next Ramadan.
Mhm.
And this is how we really take advantage of the Quran in Ramadan, by taking one or two actions, whatever, it could be just one, and making sure that we implement it from obviously in Ramadan, and then after Ramadan, and Ramadan after Ramadan, Ramadan after Ramadan. This is when you see an actual transformation, which is the core purpose of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
So this actually brings me to, another good point is how can we, once we have the understanding and contemplation of the Quran, how can we take that Quran and apply it into our life? How can
Mm.
we go through our life and while we go through certain things, remember these verses in our head?
Mm.
And there's a really impactful story of an interaction between the Prophet ﷺ, Umar ibn Khattab, and then Abu Bakr as-Siddiq
Mm.
radiallahu anhum. We'll talk about that next day, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.